death threats. I have had people come to my house. I have had people threaten to unalive me. I have had all of these range of threats. And what can I do? File a police report? Okay, where does that go from there? If these online threats are coming from someone of a different state, there's little that law enforcement can do. And I feel like they just don't have the understanding of where to take it from there. You can make a police report, and then what's the follow-up? Okay, we'll just write it down in the books. Okay, how is that going to protect me and my family?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is back in the headlines, and this time, she's not staying silent. In a fiery new video posted to her family's YouTube channel, she took a direct shot at YouTubers and TikTok creators, calling them out for what she describes as relentless harassment and cyberbullying since her release from prison. With a tone that was both emotional and assertive, Gypsy spoke candidly about the ongoing wave of negativity she's faced online, highlighting the way her life has been picked apart, twisted into clickbait, and served up as entertainment by people she claims have zero regard for the truth or her humanity. In the video, she accused creators of profiting off her pain, spreading harmful misinformation, and fueling conspiracy theories just to keep their content trending. From false claims about her marriage and personal choices to invasive speculation about her mental state, Gypsy says she's had enough. She drew attention to how exhausting it is to constantly be under the microscope, and how dehumanizing it feels to be talked about like a character in someone else's story instead of a real person trying to rebuild her life. She expressed frustration at the lack of empathy, at the way her trauma has been turned into a spectacle for views and followers. And to many, her pain was palpable, understandably so. But as soon as the video dropped, the internet had thoughts, and not all of them were sympathetic. While some viewers rallied behind her, saying she had every right to speak up and defend herself, others were quick to point out what they saw as glaring contradictions in her message. Because the reality is, Gypsy hasn't exactly kept a low profile since being released. Quite the opposite, actually. She's done multiple high-profile interviews, posted heavily on Instagram and TikTok, and signed off on both a book deal and a docuseries that dives deep into her story. She's taken part in tell-all segments and frequently updates fans about her personal life, from romantic breakups to new beginnings. In fact, a lot of the details people are now discussing publicly came straight from her own posts or interviews. Which raises the question, if you're voluntarily feeding the public narrative, can you really be mad when people run with it?
Yes. Did I do the time? Yes. And now it's kind of like, move forward. What else is there to do? Move forward. There is nothing that's going to bring my mother back. There's nothing that I can do that is going to bring back that life. We are facing a huge problem with cyberbullying right now. There are community guidelines that are put in place to prevent cyberbullying, harassment, doxing. Problem lies is that there is a local law, there is state laws, there's federal laws. If you are in a situation that you're being harassed or bullied from someone in another state, say I'm in Louisiana and I'm being bullied from someone in a different state, my local law enforcement will not know how to handle something that is a federal situation. The amount of people that I have seen personally myself be able to say such heinous and horrible things online with little to no reprimand by these companies or social media guidelines. It's disturbing, and I really feel like this is an issue that does not get talked about enough.
There's a growing sentiment online that while Gypsy is absolutely within her rights to push back against cruelty and lies, she's also been playing the media game herself. She's monetizing her story and trauma the same way she accuses others of doing, just under the guise of reclaiming her narrative. And for some, that's where things start to feel murky. The frustration, they say, might not be so much about being talked about, but about not having full control over how she's talked about. And it doesn't end there. Gypsy's recent drama with her ex-husband, Ryan Anderson, added even more fuel to the fire. Ryan went public with claims that Gypsy gave out his personal phone number to people online, a move that, if true, is incredibly reckless. It's the kind of behavior that directly contradicts the very things she's speaking out against. She's demanding respect for her privacy while allegedly putting someone else's at risk. The irony wasn't lost on the internet, and many called it out immediately, accusing her of hypocrisy. Critics have also taken issue with the way Gypsy appears to be framing herself as both the victim and the voice of reason. While she talks about learning from her mistakes, her actions, like getting involved in messy online spats, airing out relationship drama, and leaning into the fame, suggest otherwise. It's one thing to say you've changed, but accountability isn't just a statement. It's behavior, and a lot of people are waiting to see if Gypsy's actions will finally start matching her words. What's even more complicated is that Gypsy's story has never been black and white. She's not just a former inmate, she's a true crime figure, someone who is both a victim of horrific abuse and a participant in a premeditated murder. That complexity means public interest in her life isn't going away anytime soon, especially as she continues to live it out so publicly. People are intrigued, divided, and constantly reevaluating how they feel about her. And Gypsy knows this. She's smart, media savvy, and fully aware of how attention works in the digital age. The core of the criticism she's facing now is less about whether she deserves compassion, many agree that she does, and more about whether she's using selective outrage to control the spotlight. It feels, to some, like she wants the perks of fame, money, relevance, attention, without the inevitable downside of scrutiny. She wants to be celebrated for speaking out but bristles when anyone else does the same. And while it's true that online harassment can be brutal, it's also true that Gypsy has leaned into the same online culture she's now denouncing. Let's be real for a second, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's latest, "Cyberbullying Ruins Lives" rant is rubbing a lot of people the wrong way.
I can speak on my own personal experience. I have a criminal history, and with that being said, there are certain, I guess you could say, opinions and certain things that I have to deal with as, number one, a felon, number two, on parole, currently on parole, getting off of parole in about 2 weeks and 6 days. But the duration of my parole, the amount of bullying and harassment that I have had to go through is insane. Everything from people reporting me to my parole officer, and these are false reports. I am baffled at how little could be done in the moment, or even at all, to prevent and have repercussions on the bullies. And I just want to start by saying nobody's perfect, okay? I think that if you have ever said, you've got an argument in the comment section and you're like, oh, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, that's online bullying. I'm guilty of it. I'm sure you are too. Nobody is perfect. The point is, it's not a matter of if we are guilty of it or not. It's about, hey, we've probably done it in our life, and it's not okay. And that behavior needs to stop. There needs to be this greater, broader awareness about taking accountability for the words that come out of your mouth, or the things that you type, and the level of impact that it has on someone else's life.
Like, girl, the reason you're even in the public eye is because of a murder plot. 2 lives were destroyed, her mom's from years of abuse, and another by the decision Gypsy and Nick made to take things into their own hands. So no, the public didn't just randomly decide to obsess over her life. This fascination isn't out of nowhere. She's not some everyday girl getting picked on. Her story is dark, messy, and tragic, and she chose to walk back into the spotlight after prison. No one's saying she deserves hate, but let's not act like she's just some misunderstood sweetheart getting bullied for no reason. She's still actively involved in the same drama she claims to hate. Between her back and forths online, exposing personal drama, and constantly feeding the press, it's hard to see her as a victim when she keeps playing into the chaos. If she genuinely wanted peace and privacy, maybe disappearing from the internet for a bit would have made more sense than all these public call-outs and viral interviews. And trust, this isn't about defending Gypsy either. Let's not forget, she was involved in her mother's murder. That's not a detail people are just going to sweep under the rug because she went through trauma. But here's the part nobody talks about. Some of the people harassing her now are acting just as unhinged. Showing up to her house. Sending threats. Leaving disgusting comments. That's not about holding someone accountable, that's obsession. These people don't want justice, they want attention. They want to insert themselves into the narrative for views, likes, and fake internet clout. It's creepy. Like, imagine being so bored that you turn someone else's traumatic, criminal history into your own personal brand of outrage. That's not activism. That's just messy. And, yeah, Gypsy's been playing the fame game hard. She's glammed up, doing PR-friendly interviews, showing off new relationships, and giving fans all the behind-the-scenes drama. Criticizing her for capitalizing on her story?
You really need to look at the weight that your words have on other people. For me, I know that I'm not perfect and I have done and said some things online that I regret. So, but I am growing from that. Is the things that we put out on social media worth the monetary, the temporary monetary gain that we get? The amount of rumors about me, Ken, my pregnancy, my life have been insane. Like, some of these conspiracy theories and rumors are insane. Like, I don't understand it, how anyone is able to think this up in their head, put it online. And the sad thing is we live in a society, especially with Gen Z, that they will see a video and take it as fact, when it is complete slander, lies, and manipulation. There are still people out there that think that I was faking my pregnancy, that, oh, my daughter is a doll. Like, come on now. Come on now.
Totally fair. But turning into her stalker? That's way more disturbing than anything she's posted. And the thing that's starting to get really obvious? She only ever responds to the stuff she knows she can easily shut down. Like those dumb theories floating around that her baby isn't real? Of course she's going to address that, it's low-hanging fruit. She can shut that down in 2 sentences and get a ton of sympathy. But when it comes to the actual heavy stuff, like rumors she might have had a more direct role in her mom's murder, or questions about whether she's really being honest about her past, silence. Not a word. It's weird how she's so quick to make whole videos shutting down TikTok trolls, but stays completely quiet when people bring up actual inconsistencies in her story. If she's really so focused on setting the record straight, why skip over the serious stuff? Why not address the things that make people go, wait, hold up? Instead, she's picking the safe battles, clapping back at nonsense while the bigger questions keep floating around unanswered. And the more she avoids them, the louder they get. Because while she's busy dragging random internet users and pushing her glow-up era, the internet hasn't forgotten that she's still at the center of a deeply controversial true crime case. And her silence on the more complicated issues just makes it feel like she's carefully curating what parts of her story get attention, and which ones get buried. So, yeah, people are still watching, still questioning, and still side-eyeing this whole redemption arc she's trying to sell. Let's not sugarcoat it, the internet is a savage place. Everyone gets dragged at some point, even for the dumbest things. And, yeah, it hurts. But you either grow thicker skin or you let it eat you alive. Gypsy Rose Blanchard isn't the first person to get hate online, and sadly, she won't be the last. But let's stop pretending her situation is like any other influencer getting trolled for a bad take. This is someone who helped plan a murder. That label is never going to disappear, no matter how many TikToks she posts or how many times she tells people to stop. She wants people to stop calling her a murderer, saying, "It's not gonna bring my mom back." And, yeah, obviously, it won't.
You can report comments, you can report videos, but there's so much that slides by that I always see no violation, no violation, no violation. This person straight called me stupid. They hate me. It says on their video, the word hate. No violation. Not a single word on the planet that people have not called me yet. And at this point, when they call me the M word, at this point I'm like, okay, can you come up with something better? Because I've been being called that for years and years and years. To my family, I'm not. To my friends, I'm not. I'm just Gypsy. To the people that love me and care about me, and I love them and care about them. To the general public, yes, I have a criminal history. Did I do the crime? Yes. Did I do the time? Yes. And now it's kind of like, move forward. What else is there to do? Move forward. There is nothing that's gonna bring my mother back. There's nothing that I can do that is going to bring back that life.
But the issue isn't about revenge, it's about facts. She did help plan her mother's death. That's not something the internet is going to let go of, especially when she keeps staying in the spotlight. If it really bothers her this much, maybe the solution isn't going live or writing clapbacks, it's logging off and working on her life outside the chaos of social media. Let's also not ignore the fact that the people hurling threats and stalking her, they're not doing it out of justice. They're doing it because they're either bored, obsessed, or desperate for attention. And while it's completely fair to criticize Gypsy's behavior, it crosses a whole other line when people start showing up at her house or throwing out dangerous accusations just to stir the pot. Still, Gypsy's far from innocent in all this. She's constantly trying to reshape her public image, doing glowy interviews, romantic posts, and now stepping into the anti-bullying advocate role. But here's the kicker, this is the same woman who just a few weeks ago was putting her ex's business out there for the world to see. Addiction struggles, personal drama, she had no problem airing it out like it was tabloid gold. And now she wants to act like she's all about kindness and peace? Come on. Plus, every time someone calls her out or questions her choices, she acts like it's all bullying. That's just not true. There's a big difference between harassment and people holding you accountable. If you're posting weird parenting advice or making jokes about prison, the internet's going to say something. It's what the internet does. The truth is, Gypsy wants to control how people see her. She wants to be viewed as a reformed survivor, not someone with blood on her hands. And while it's true she endured horrific abuse, that doesn't cancel out the fact that she also made devastating decisions. Trauma and accountability can exist at the same time, but she's trying to erase one half of the story. So if Gypsy really wants peace, maybe it's time she dials down the public appearances and stops feeding into the drama. Because right now, she's doing the same thing as the people she's calling out, keeping the controversy alive for clicks, sympathy, or control. That's just how I see it. If you're here for honest takes and no fluff commentary, stick around. There's always more tea brewing in this corner of the internet.